Hi, this is Katie again. We'll talk more about what is the last letter of our Myers-Briggs preference, so our judging, J or P, which stands for judging or perceiving. So this preference, we learn more about sort of the way that we are oriented to the external environment. Do we look at the environment as decisions to be made? So that's one way to describe the judging, folks with judging preference. Or do we look at the environment as options to be explored, which is one way to look at the folks with a perceiving preference. There's a little more nuance to what that describes, but for our purposes, we'll just use that description today. And so folks with a judging preference, again, prefer to look at the environment as decisions to be made. So they often feel really good about creating a plan, to-do list, checklist, and staying true to that plan that they created, wanting to really act out exactly as the plan is on paper or in a system, and not wanting to veer too much from the plan. So if we think about folks with that preference, what's helpful, one way that I use this, it can be helpful, is to talk about what in a plan might shift. So if we've got a big project or planning for an event or planning to create a toolkit or something, a longer term project in particular, it's important for me to talk with folks about what in our plan might change and what might stay the same, what might not shift. So for instance, if the deadline is a definite hard and fast deadline, I'll try to be clear about that. And if there are things along the way that might shift, so resources or the size of a toolkit or the speakers at an event or something along those lines, it's important to let folks know that, hey, it's okay, we're going to shift this along the way, but here's where our starting point is. So that can really help support your folks with judging preferences. It's also important for anybody just to acknowledge just the strengths that they bring to the team, so that we do appreciate them helping to create some structure and hold ourselves to some structure. There's really very important. On the flip side, folks who have that are more of a perceiving preference, often are more comfortable with change and backup plans. So they're okay with creating a project plan in front. I kind of think of it as a funnel, but they want to keep their options open as long as possible and explore a lot of options. And so to think about one way that I use this to support folks with perceiving function is to honor this ability to sort of be more spontaneous and shift along the way, and to help provide some structure for folks with a perceiving preference to make sure that the options don't go too out of left field that we can't ever consider at all. Like, we think about the boundaries of this camera angle. Like, if we're out here way past the boundaries, that's not going to help any of us. So let me help them sort of create some structure that then they can play within, and not to discourage creative solutions within that structure. So trying to help, again, like, honor what they bring to the table and encourage creative solutions no matter what someone's preference is, but be clear about what those boundaries are that they need to stay between. So really important to support folks with both a judging preference or a perceiving preference, and to honor the things that they bring to the table. Reach out with any questions. Thanks.